Going on,
What's shaking?
fellas? So we just come out of the theater. We seen Halloween 2018, not the original or the remake. This is like the new sequel.
It's
to the
Halloween
original.
2, 3.
Halloween 2 Part 3A or something. I don't know. It's complicated, but this one is directed by David Gordon Green, I believe, the fellow who directed Pineapple Express. So you have a guy coming from comedy doing this, and it was written by Danny McBride.
And you can tell. In certain spots, anyway.
And there's written by him and a few others. I noticed it was him, and there was 3 others with his name.
Like, any joke in it was probably Danny.
Yeah, like there was, and this movie is completely backed with the blessing of John Carpenter. He 110% approves of what's going on with this movie, and I find that very understandable. I thought that they did go for some weird things in this movie that I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, like there's just like pretty gross actually. A couple things like
With the classic one being so like tame, like with being very little blood, there is quite a bit.
oh yeah,
in
yeah.
this one.
There's 2 like really brutal scenes. Like they're all fairly brutal. There's a couple that are like whatever, but like there's some that are like real friggin' brutal.
There
like,
was stuff
almost
in this-
more brutal than you'd expect
Well,
from
see,
a
this is-
Halloween movie. You know
That's
what I mean?
the thing where I feel as though they could get away with it with this movie is because there's a lot of stuff, and like I guess not really a spoiler, but there's stuff in this movie where you see it happen, where they leave your mind to say, how did that happen? Like how did that?
I like that. Like it didn't show every kill, for instance. It would show 2 people get killed in the house, but there's a third or whatever, and then you're like, well, what happens to
happened to
him?
him?
The cop goes in, and then you just see him dead in a way that's just brutal as hell, and you're like, it just, like you said, lets you use your
You have to
imagination.
figure it out, and
which-
like that's more scary, right?
yeah,
like that's
which
gonna
I think
freak you out.
horror movies need to do more of that. Like they think that we need to see the gore, we need to see all the violence. We don't necessarily need to. I mean, I like it. We're not talking about spoilers yet, are we?
No.
All right. Well, there's some scenes in this that are very brutal that I liked a lot. Anyway.
So basically, what the story is, it's a sequel that takes place 40 years after the original. None of the sequels happened. So this isn't a spoiler because they've said it in like the press and stuff. Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis is back, but she is no longer Michael Myers' sibling.
And actually, in a part in the movie, they even kind of just shrug it off as like that was a rumor, and it was like
as if
people
to say
talking,
like anybody is just
Yeah.
like, well, fans are just like, well, yeah, that's his sister, and that's them just saying in the movie that no, they're not at all.
I like that.
And I thought it was they do some crazy shit with it. Like basically, she's just been living her life, and she's just been basically preparing for something
That's
like
probably,
that to
that's
happen
probably
again.
one of my bigger gripes with it. Just I understand the whole her part of that and what's going on with her head, but like, how the hell did she afford to do
That's
that?
what I mean, man. It's like, what happened? Was she backed by Loomis or something?
She's like a
what was
modern day Batman, but
like what was her and Loomis's relationship after the events of the first movie? Because of course Donald Pleasance died like back in the 90s. He couldn't do this movie, but his presence is in the movie, especially with this new doctor guy, with this new doctor character. And getting into this, I think we're going to be getting into spoilers because I feel as though we're going to be saying some
before
spoilery
that
stuff
though,
from
like
here.
soundtrack overall, like it was a good movie.
Yeah, the
was
soundtrack, the
great.
direction, the angles, and you noticed it too. They do a lot of this where they did it in the first movie. You'll be watching the movie, but you got to look at everything because you got to look in the backgrounds
You
of
can
some
always,
parts.
if Michael's, especially once he escapes or whatever. We're getting into spoilers, I guess. Anyway, when Michael is on screen and once he's more on screen more, you do see him in the background a fair bit, just doing stuff like I won't get into what, but
yeah, like a lot of respect paid to the original movie.
and
with
and
this.
that, like, I was just watching the original. I didn't get to finish it because I was just running late, but I noticed there was a lot of that in the original, and it's creepy. Like
It's
real
freaky. Well, they said that they wanted to go back to what makes Michael Myers scary, like what made the shape scary. And if you ask me, the biggest thing is like I learned this from Scream 1 is it's a lot scarier when you don't have a motive. And in this movie, they don't give us a
Yeah,
reason. He
yeah.
is just some crazy guy going around fucking killing people.
Killing, literally, like just.
Like as we were saying, because we were saying like favorite scenes, one of my favorite scenes that actually just shows you what Michael is all about.
We're in
is-
spoilers now.
Yeah, is whenever that lady is in the kitchen, and he walks into the kitchen, and
Just for no reason?
He walks in, and you just hear her scream or whatever, and he comes and he puts the hammer down or something, and
And
then
grabs the knife.
and then the camera goes into the kitchen, and you see what he did to her.
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of stuff like this. Like I hope this movie does galore with the money, so because I do want to see a sequel to this.
If what I read earlier, they didn't put a whole lot into the movie money wise. So
That's right. It already
they're
made back
already-
like 10 times what it costs to make. Like I'm interested to see where it goes because I know that I think it was David Gordon Green. He said that they were gonna do 2 movies, but he
Yeah,
was
you were saying that
unsure.
during the
He was
credits, yeah.
unsure if this was even gonna do good or not. So they just decided
Which
to
I
go with
could
the one
see.
movie.
I could see why they thought that. Like it starts off kind of slow. Like it took a while for anything.
And
to
that's
really,
another thing. Even for a horror movie, this was way, way, way more like less scale. There's not too much happening in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a very low scale movie. Whereas like that these days you have like horror movies. Like for example, I just seen The Cabin in the Woods yesterday or the day before, and it's like whoa, okay, whoa. But whereas this is literally just like an indie film that anybody can make. I
Yeah.
feel as though like.
Yeah. But
It's not this big thing.
like I was saying though, it probably took how long until friggin' anything started happening with Michael. Like,
I will agree there. The beginning of the
and
movie
they're
is
introducing characters so we can feel for them. But after so many characters, you're like, holy shit.
the
how many
beginning of the
characters
movie
are
is a
they
little
putting in this?
draggy, but as you said, it's just
like
character
once
building.
once Michael's on screen for what the purpose of the movie is an excellent.
The
movie.
whole the movie picks up about let's say 2 to 3 minutes before he slaps that mask on. That's whenever you're just like, oh, okay, so this is the movie that I wanted to see.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, aside from the head bash, I love the head bash. But one of mine is the whole stall scene
The
there
stall
with the girl
kill.
there. Like that was just sketching me out. I was friggin'
And
scared.
like as
for-
he and our both of our favorite kill possibly we didn't get to see it is the jack o' lantern
Oh,
head.
yeah, that-
and like if you've
that
seen
was
the movie,
coolest looking thing I've seen in a horror
if you
movie
guys
in a
seen the
long
movie, you
while.
know which kill we're
Yeah.
talking about. So
That was nuts.
what else is there? I think Jamie Lee Curtis did a perfect job.
Yeah.
Like I actually believed that this woman has been hard at it
Yeah.
for the last 40 years, just getting ready for whatever the fuck.
Even
is.
that one from Jurassic World, she I don't really like her, but she wasn't like terrible. Like usually,
I don't think she's a
usually-
terrible actress.
Like,
I
sometimes
just don't
she
like
does-
her characters.
Yeah.
The characters she
fair
plays
enough.
are always because I won't say she's a bad actress, but every movie I see her in, I want her to die.
So
no, I guess
what
I'm-
happened to that kid who threw the phone in the pudding?
He's
Like,
I guess he's
what-
sequel material.
But like, no, I'm just realizing this.
Neither
After
have I.
after
He
the
didn't
phone
die.
went in the pudding, we didn't see him.
He didn't die. Yeah, he's just
because
gone.
the chubby kid and the girl left, and he was just like I don't know. I thought he
Brain
might
fart.
get killed or something. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot about him, or
Maybe they'll bring him
sequel.
back in the
just
sequel. Who
saving
knows?
people to kill in the sequel, which I felt with how it ended. Like I thought they probably could have killed off one or two of them, maybe even is it Lori? Yeah.
Yeah,
They could have killed her off, really, but
yeah, and she's still here. I thought
All
she was
three
gonna
of
go
them.
down in this movie for sure.
and that's probably setting up the sequel because we sat through the credits for
Yeah,
for the
there's
post-credit scene.
so this fella tells me there's a post credit scene, and I was like, oh really, there is? And we sit there looking it up because I'm just like, man, it's a horror movie.
I know. I googled it and it was
So,
like something about a post-credit scene.
post-credit
so I
scene
exited out.
explained, and then at the end, it's just there's no scene. All you can hear is, and I was just like, well, I'm happy that they do give us some kind of confirmation that Michael is still alive. He did survive that shit show.
I think
at
I would have been happier if it showed him standing there looking at the house burning down with all the cops and shit.
Because that's another question. Like, what
the?
the hell? How did he get out of that? Like, how did he
Yeah.
get out of that trap?
I did like how they did his breathing. It was almost
That's-
reminded me of Darth Vader.
Well, no,
in this
that
weird,
the
creepy
breathing,
way.
the breathing is done completely by. I think it's Castle. I think it's Nick Castle is the guy who did Michael Myers
Well,
in the
I like that,
original
like,
movie.
when it's silent and you can just you hear his breathing, and then when he goes for the kill, he stops breathing.
Yeah,
I
it's
noticed
sketchy,
that,
man.
like in that scene where the lights are going on and off with the chubby kid that's drunk, like you could hear him breathing when the lights were going off and on. And then it goes off this one time, and you hear his breathing, and it just stops, and then the lights come on, and then he just kills Buddy. It's nuts.
The only thing I'm wondering, and hopefully they will explain it in a sequel or maybe at a press conference or something, but I want to explain, how did they get Michael after the original movie? Like, how did he end up back in the hospital? That was the biggest thing I wanted to know going into this movie, is what happened. Like, maybe they said it in the movie, maybe I missed something, but
I don't even know.
maybe I missed how they, because
They just kind of started, and he was.
he's in there, yeah. Like, okay, what happened, guys? That's not
And then
fair.
he ripped someone's jaw off, but like still like.
It's still on
Yeah,
him. He
but
didn't rip it
I
completely
think he
off.
took like all the teeth out or something.
I'm guessing that was the same
That was
fella.
pretty
It was
messed
probably
up
his.
when he just drops all the teeth in the stall. Like that stall scene, man, I fucking love that scene.
I do think this is the scariest Michael Myers has ever been. I think he's even more frightening than the Rob Zombie.
I like the aged look to the mask too.
Like how it looks like it's just been chilling somewhere.
Like it almost felt like when you're watching it, it felt like your normal standard slasher horror film. And then when he puts the mask on, it was like, no, this is Halloween. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was sketchy, but it was almost like this could have been Jason and you would have bought it. But
Yeah.
then as soon as the mask went on, you're like, no, it was Halloween.
It was Michael. But with that being said, I don't know if I have anything more to say.
There was maybe too much comedy for my liking. I did like the comedy because it was like, it was balanced pretty good, and it kind of, I don't know.
And before we go, another thing, me, you, and Robert, we all feel the same way. The best character in the movie is that little black fella,
I don't
that
even
the
remember
girl.
his name.
Nor do I, but like
Leon, I don't know.
you can tell every word that came out of this kid's mouth was written to paper by Danny McBride.
You clip my gross ass toenail.
Yeah, he's just like clipping these toenails. Like, what you talking about? Like the magic trick,
Alakazam.
Alakazam. He's like, I know you're talking about smoking weed. And he's like, I'm gonna tell on you. And I was just like, no, that is pure gold. I love this character.
Like that stuff I like, but there was some other jokes and I don't know, just stuff that didn't fit for me. I don't know. I like my horror movies dark and gritty and scary, and
If we
too
do
many
get a
jokes
sequel,
is
though,
just-
if we do get a sequel, I want this kid back.
Well, yeah, he didn't get killed.
yeah,
and
right.
and that's another thing actually. Before we end this, Michael Myers actually kills a kid.
Yeah, we didn't say that.
That was pretty messed up.
I think it started a trend.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we see more of this.
Well,
because
I'm
I am-
watching it and I'm like, are they gonna kill this kid? They never kill kids, and I was like, I kind of want them to kill the kid, but then I was like, but I kind of don't. Like, it's one of those.
And then they went
things.
for it. Well, I was feeling it whenever he went in there next to the baby because I thought he was
Yeah.
going to kill the baby. I
Well,
was like,
that's-
if they do this, this is pushing it way too far.
Yeah, I know.
But he
I
didn't
was
kill
like,
the
you
baby.
just killed the kid. Are you gonna kill a baby? And I was borderline with it, but I was like, I don't know if this should happen.
Yeah,
and then
I know. I was
he
like-
just walked past it, and I was like, okay.
Something was telling me, it's like, there's no way they're doing this because everybody was saying how good this movie is.
They were
even
probably
critics.
like, we were gonna do it,
And
but
then-
then we just
then the
seen the internet before
the
we
critics
even
would
did
just
it,
be
so-
would have seen that and they'd just been like, what do you think you are, Human Centipede 2?
Yeah.
Killing infants? But with that, I give this movie a thumbs up.
Yes.
Go check it out in the theater. Go check it out twice. Let this movie. It's already making all kinds of money. I don't even need to tell you guys to go see it.
I'm pretty sure the
But-
budget was like 10 or 15 million, if I read correctly. That might be wrong. I'll have to.
Well, it
recheck
already.
that up, but
Is Venom still above this for the biggest October release?
I believe
ever?
so. But this.
But
was
this
like,
is second. This
yeah.
is still number 2.
Yeah.
And that's friggin'
crazy.
Yeah.
2 in 1 month, and it was this month. It's kind of nuts.
2018 is a crazy year for friggin' movies, guys. But with that being said, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned Halloween night, because I'm coming here tomorrow morning. We're going to review the OG, and we're going to post that on Halloween, so stay tuned.
All right, take her easy, guys.